What's up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency education. And if you guys are brand new here, we do a giveaway at the beginning of every single episode. And today's winner is Vulps. Thanks so much for commenting on multiple of the previous videos, Vulps, and being a valuable member of the community. Just sent you some crypto. On this special episode, I sit down with Remy and Jean-Marc, the co-founders of RealT. It is the first and most ambitious project that is putting real estate on the Ethereum blockchain. They've had over $1 million on chain. They have all the transactions to prove it. And it is a very, very impressive project. And like I've said in previous interviews and videos on the channel, I do always respect people that are regulatory compliant, people that take the time, they're very methodical in how they go about applying for various licenses, making sure that they're by the book. And I always like to highlight that first and foremost, because the space needs more of that type of behavior. And when it comes to Remy and Jean-Marc, they are a distributed team across the entire world. They're based in Florida, they're based in Paris. They have some incredible properties on the platform, and their average investor's age is around 35 years old. So it is effectively fractionalizing a property where you can take a small percentage of it for as low as $50 and make passive income through this stable coin. So it's a really, really ambitious and exciting project that's lowering the barrier to entry to investing in real estate globally. And we're not talking about one country specifically. We're talking about the entire world can potentially get access to the legendary asset class that is real estate. So without further ado, let's dive into my interview with Remy and Jean-Marc, the co-founders of RealT. What's up, guys? I am here with Remy and Jean-Marc, the founders of RealT. How's it going, guys?
Doing well. Thank you, Steve, for having us.
Going well. Thank you very much for having us.
Definitely. So what I wanted to start out with was just how you guys came up with the concept for RealT and a little bit about your background, like what led you guys towards, real estate on the blockchain.
Jean-Marc and I have been in real estate for the better part of our life. We've been partners for 20 years and 20 years in real estate. RealT came along by combining two of our passions. In the early 2011, we started investing in Bitcoin and mining Bitcoins. Always saw the use of a blockchain and how real estate could work. But thanks to security tokens, we were finally able to come up with a simple solution to democratize and open real estate to the world, real estate investment to the world.
Nice.
So absolutely. We were in real estate, mostly residential real estate across Canada and the US. And in 2011, we were in Miami and we discovered blockchain. Really, but it was just Bitcoin at the time, and it became as a hobby, not a profession, as a hobby. And very quickly, it became a very important hobby to the point where we dedicated one of our properties in Montreal to the Bitcoin community, and we founded what was to become the first Bitcoin embassy in the world, in the heart of Montreal. We always tried to link both, and security tokens, as Remy said, made it possible. Difficult, but possible, and it's getting easier and more understandable every day now. Voilà.
Got it. So for the beginners out there that are listening and watching, what is RealT? Like, I know it's involved with Ethereum, but just for everybody, what is RealT from a high level, and what are you guys currently working on?
RealT is a real estate investment platform, which allows Mr. Anybody to invest and take advantage of passive income with an investment as small as $50. You have the landlord experience. You have the ups and downs of a landlord, the appreciation of the assets, as well as the daily income. So RealT made something a little bit new to the world of real estate and investment, which is we pay rent on a daily basis through the blockchain. Because of stablecoin is a cryptocurrency that is pegged to the dollar. The transaction cost for those kind of daily transaction made it possible. So RealT is really democratizing and opening up investment that usually are reserved for the top 5% of the world to everybody for as little as $50 per investment.
So what we have done, Remy and I, is we took advantage of the concept of security tokens. And since it was still impossible today to immediately tokenize a property, but we can tokenize a security tokens. So what we did is we have one entity, an LLC, a special purpose vehicle. So this one entity purchases one property. And we tokenize that entity, which is an LLC that owns only one property. So by doing that, we end up tokenizing the property itself, even though it becomes a security. Now with that, it allows a person to purchase a token with as little as $50, like Remy says. And blockchain allows us to distribute the rent perceived on that on a daily basis. So there is almost an instant gratification effect on that, where you buy today, you earn rent tomorrow, and you go through the experience of the landlord, collecting rent and earning passive income. If we had that possibility 20 years back or 30 years back, when we started, Remy and I, to be able to invest in real estate with very small amounts and build passive income, the situation would be uncalculable right now. We can only urge, and that was one of the motivations for creating RealT. We urge the young couples or those that start in life, put any amount, a small amount, $50, but start building up passive income today. Throughout the years, it builds faster than you can imagine. That's all we would. That was really one of the founding motivation for RealT, for people to learn how to take advantage of passive income in the long term.
Yeah.
One of the other motivation of RealT was the problem with real estate investment is the timing of your investment. You're usually married for 5 to 7 years when you invest in real estate. And thanks to the DeFi integration that we're able to do, thanks to blockchain, we have literally eliminated this barrier of time. Today, you could buy real estate on a Monday, collect your rent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sell your investment on Sunday and be back in your cash position plus your rent collected. This was never done before.
Yeah. And it's just like you said, Jean-Marc, for young people that are just getting started out. You know, I've always recommended on the channel in the past, put your expenses on a spreadsheet and then put your assets that are cash flowing next to them. And if you can offset, your expenses with your assets, you have the ultimate freedom.
So I'm so with you. We have a saying is, how does it go? If youth knew and if the wise could, because basically instead of partying one night and getting drunk for $60 or $70, just don't do it that night. Buy something that will earn you income. Sacrifice this one night.
Yeah. Well said. And with you guys, as low as $50 can actually generate some income, and that's fantastic that you guys have done that. One thing I did want to highlight is that you guys have very, very, very focused on compliance. Like regulatory compliance has been first and foremost. And I always like to applaud projects in this space because we're operating in kind of a wild, wild west type environment. And the people that do follow the rules know that, laws aren't just going to disappear by any means for a specific industry. So, I applaud you guys on following the strict regulation and guidelines. And with that said, where can people participate? Like what countries are able? Because since you guys are following the regulatory guidelines, who can participate now?
I will answer this. Currently, in the US, only accredited investors can participate. We are still a couple of years away, I believe, before we can offer a Regulation A, which means every investor. So currently, it's only Reg D accredited investors. Overseas, all the countries that are not blacklisted by the OFAC are welcome. So there's a KYC, AML procedure, etc. If it comes from a blacklisted country, can't invest. That's it. And then each country has specific regulations allowing a certain amount of investors without a visa or without some certain further authorizations to invest in such projects. We take advantage of all those exemptions, and when we grow beyond that, we file for the full authority to be able to market in that country. So right now, it's the US and pretty much the rest of the world, except for those that are blacklisted by OFAC.
Got it. And in terms of, where you guys are at, I know that you guys have done, I think I saw an announcement on Twitter that like over $1 million has been put through the Ethereum blockchain with you guys, and that's super exciting. So congratulations on that. But where are you guys at in terms of what's coming this year? Like, what are you guys looking forward to, and what can you share with people?
We are working on quite a few DeFi integration, where we will be able to have some loans against our tokens. We are as well going in with new wallets in the website, which will facilitate for Mr. Everybody to enter and take abstraction of the crypto size. As for the investments, we are really focusing in Section 8 investments, which are subsidized living in the US, especially in the time we're living in, knowing that we have guaranteed rent by the federal government is quite comforting nowadays.
Got it. And in terms of, you touched on it briefly, but it was a huge aspect to this, which is liquidity. You touched on it where some people are, investing in real estate where they're taking out 30-year mortgages and things like that for rentals. And I think that that's probably one of the more important things to bring up. So can you briefly touch on the liquidity aspect of RealT?
So when we started RealT, the idea was to be able to buy a token, hold it, and receive passive income. But then quickly, Remy wanted people to be able to get in and out if they need it, because sometimes you never know what happens. And we proposed the possibility of buying back your token through our website. RealT would buy it back. Since it's a good investment anyway, if we propose it to our clients, it means that we are happy to have it. So we propose the possibility of buying back that token, and then we would just resell it to another investor or keep it in our own account for gathering income for ourselves. But then, more importantly, DeFi solutions appeared. I'm thinking primarily of Uniswap. We put a token on Uniswap as a test, at first as a curiosity. And we realized the power of DeFi right there and then. We knew it was coming. We didn't realize it was already here. That's a big difference. All of a sudden, a secondary market appeared on a DeFi basis where people could buy and sell their token through, I love the way it's described in Uniswap. It's an algorithmic decentralized exchange. So what that is, we're not going to get into in this show. But it opened up a whole panel of possibilities for the investors and for all those that are dealing with security tokens. Uniswap is the beginning. There are many other apps that are being integrated in the DeFi ecosystem that a token that is whitelisted can take advantage of. It's absolutely phenomenal, and we are at the beginning of this. So yes, Uniswap and to come other apps that are appearing provide a lot of security, including the possibility to use a token as collateral. That's coming up as well. and liquidity. And so right now for a token holder, you can either sell it through the website, or you can go on Uniswap and exchange it there. So you have two options right now, which when we started, there was zero at the beginning. So, and we're not even a year old yet. So, well, we are 1 year, actually, exactly 1 year old. So it's really impressive, I think. And that shows DeFi space.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a phenomenal concept to have somebody be able to put money in on Friday or 1 week and then be able to take it out because of the liquidity, like you guys are buying back, which makes sense because it's a physical asset that's backing this. So it makes perfect sense to have like a buyback feature. So are you guys the only ones that are doing real estate on the blockchain? Because it's a huge, I mean, trillions of dollars in real estate. So are you guys the only ones trying to tackle this right now? Are there any other projects that you're looking at?
I will answer and then Remy will complement. So trying, no, a lot of people have been trying, and the first time I heard of the notion, when Remy and I were thinking about it since 2013 or 14, we heard other people speaking about it as early as 2016. There's been many attempts. Since RealT is not the first attempt, I think that RealT is the first to do it on the basis of a security token that is tradable and that is live on the blockchain. There's been projects that have been tokenized, quote unquote, but they haven't been traded on any blockchain. They haven't been registered to various token holders. What happened is just properties were tokenized, and the people that own the property, the traditional way, had in addition a token, and so the property was tokenized. Right now, there are some projects that tokenize groups of properties in some fashion, where there's a relation between the token and the asset, which is more contractual nature. But to do it the way RealT does it, which is ownership of one property per type of token, we're the only ones, I believe, today.
There have been quite a few attempts to do what RealT has been able to do in the past, but from my knowledge, we are the only one doing it today. We took a property such as our property on Marlowe Street in Detroit, and we have 132 token holders, so property owners in 32 different countries.
Wow.
Not many real estate investors could say that.
Wow. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I love that.
Me too. Me too. When I say that to other colleagues of mine in the real estate space, they say, "What?" That's a new era. We have entered a new era in real estate investments.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. So that's a good segue into like traction. Like, what have you guys seen? Like I mentioned the $1 million number, and you've mentioned a few properties. What has gone through RealT so far since you guys have started?
So far, we have started, with first property was a single family home in Detroit. We have been focusing in Detroit because of the economical situation of the city, which came out of bankruptcy, and the upside as well as the cap rate, the correlation between the rent and the asset price is quite staggering. So we did a few multifamily homes. We finished a multifamily property, a 15 units building, and we are, I think, at 75% sold out on our second multifamily property as well. We have in the pipeline right now another 3 Section 8 properties, which we will be announcing next week, fully Section 8, and one of them is a veteran-occupied building.
Oh, very cool.
We like to take advantage of all the sections under the HUD.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And in terms of your team, are you guys distributed? I know a lot of the people that I talk to are distributed all over the world. Where all are you guys based, and how big are you?
We are a team of 10, I think now. We are absolutely distributed all over the world. We are as decentralized as our token holders. We have our headquarters are in Florida, in Boca Raton, but we have our lead blockchain developer in Nevada, our CEO in Seattle, second blockchain developer in Paris. I myself am in Paris as well. We have another team member also in Seattle. So we are really across Europe and the US. We don't have a presence yet in Asia. But,
Got it. That's great though. I mean, distributed, like you said, it's almost like you're very much mimicking how your token holders are. You know, everybody's all over the world, and teams likewise. I think that that's really a special thing to do, and it's important, especially like you said, it's a new era for how we run businesses.
And we have the tools to do it. It takes a little bit of getting used to, though, for a veteran like me. You see my beard is white. So I'm used to traditional offices with employees and with where people can just ask a question and we answer. But today, if people such as me, if we take the time to learn the tools available, you can achieve the same results and even go beyond it. There are some drawbacks, but the tools allow us to overcome them. For me personally, it took some time to learn. There was a learning curve for sure. Now, for nothing would I go back to a traditional office where everything is centralized. We're just here, we're active around the clock. Yeah. Around the clock, because we're in different time zones, there's always somebody available to answer token holders. Always. It's fantastic.
Yeah, covering all the time zones.
And I need to add that within this economy, we are a growing team, and we have been hiring as late as last week. We added somebody into our team.
Nice. Yeah, in this day and age, in the current situation of things, all being sitting in our houses safely, hiring is a big deal.
It is, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of. Cool, guys. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. Like I said, I wanted to highlight the fact that you guys are super regulatory compliant. I love that. And I think that needs to be more widely known. People need to know that this is available. A lot of people just don't quite know that this is out there yet. They just kind of think it's the back of a napkin concept, but it does exist. And thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing the RealT story.
Thank you so much for having us. And we hope to appear again on the show sometime soon with more updates and more news.
Excellent.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. That is it for my interview with Remy and Jean-Marc, the co-founders of RealT. I had a lot of fun talking to them, shared some things offline about what I'm trying to do in real estate, and we shared some stories about what's going on right now with the whole COVID-19 crisis that's happening in the whole world being on lockdown. So it's better now than ever to get involved in passive income streams. And I've said this many times on the channel in the past, if you're young and you're thinking about what you're going to do in the future, taking a couple $1,000s, a couple $100s just to put into something that generates cash flow is the best possible thing you can do. And in real estate, it is a very low risk investment. Now, obviously stable coins are stable, but at the same time, there is a risk associated with it. So it's important to do your own research. All the links will be in the description below so you guys can check it out. And that is it for this episode of Hack Crypto. Don't forget to hack your cryptocurrency education, and I will see you guys on the next episode.